Are you sure, Alferg? It's 10 minutes past 10. Welcome to the Everything GM broadcast. It's time for some music analysis. I hope you're ready. Make sure you have a drink in your hand. Make sure you're being kind to yourself. We're on big chill time today. It's a good morning. I woke up nice and on time. I had very weird dreams. Recently, I've been having the most psychedelic dreams. I don't know where they come from. They've been so weird and so out there. One time I dreamed that I was Hitman, the bald Hitman with a barcode. But also Hitman who like I was also me as a Hitman with a barcode. It was very weird. Yeah, so welcome everyone. Please get yourself comfortable and know that no matter how you've arrived here today, no matter who you are and where you come from, know that you're very welcome here. And know that no matter how you're engaging with this content, whether you're watching the video live, whether you're lurking in chat, whether you're active in chat, whether you're watching the VOD in the future, know that you are welcome here, no matter the medium through which you're watching this. That was a pretty fast intro. I want to get into things. Yeah, thanks for making me part of your day. Thanks for spending some time together. Thank you for choosing to engage in some musical content with us today. This track is bloody good. Oh, it is. It is. This one is Rome Battle by Mocha Music. Yeah. It may just be do whatever, I'm sick, I don't want to think, thumbs up. Okay, Alfred, you and I are going to decide for her then. So, I don't mind doing just 2 today instead of the 3 that we usually do, because, and she specifically wanted to wait until she could be there, right? So I feel like it would be, it's not an inconvenience for me, you know that, right? Like, it's cool if I could just take it out of the list and then we just don't do it. Like, that's totally fine. I don't mind at all. South African Hitman, I'm now seeing you wandering around a mansion in France in a random waiter's clothes looking for a rich prick to put to sleep. Yeah. But no, it was like, you know Hitman Absolution? Hitman Absolution is the game where he, like, turns on his agency and stuff. Like, the agency is corrupt or whatever, and he tries to kill them all. I was in that one. If anything, having 2 is more convenient. No, that's true. Yeah, exactly. So having 2 means I could probably spend more time on each one. We would probably still end early anyway, but yeah. So, Alfred, what do you think? I haven't played Absolution. I've only played the 2016 series. I remember Absolution is older than that. Like, dude, yo. Absolution was a great one. It was my favorite one. And I remember playing Hitman Contracts as well, like the really old 2000 ones. Those were so much fun. It may be better. I'd like to watch with her. Okay, well, in that case, I'll take it away. So, hopefully the copyright gods will treat us a little bit better. Okay. And that's what we're doing today. So I am going to quickly no need to change the thumbnail, it's fine. Change the thumbnail is going to be effort. I'll do that next time. Right. So today we're into 2 tracks today. One from Joseph Shirley from the Creed 3 soundtrack. Creed 3's thumbnail looks like it's a boxing movie. Or martial arts movie. And it is starring Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan. Who looks like he has a great workout routine. Like, damn. That's a healthy looking man. And I don't know what it's about though. I know that it was an old film, I think, and then it was and then it was remade. Like maybe this one is like the newer version of whatever happened next. And then after that, we've got Man with the Hex by the Atomic Fireballs, which is an Alferg pick. And I don't know... I have a feeling that it's going to be punk. I don't know why I have a feeling it's going to be punk, but I just get that feeling in my bones, you know. Absolution is 2012. Oh, damn. Okay. I remember Absolution. My dad had a copy sitting around the house despite never seeing him play the PS2 that was there. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, Absolution was 2012? What fucking Hitman I remember? It might be Contracts. That's a much older one. I used to play Contracts. Last one before the reboot with the 2016 series, which is brilliant. Played all three of them. They're fantastic. Yeah. Absolution was before. Absolution was the last Hitman game they made before the big, like, remake. Hitman is one of those everything's a blur, it's all the same series for me. I would say the same because from 2012 to 2016, things look very familiar. Like, things look very similar, and the vibe is still the same. And the gameplay is still, like, you just use creative means to get in and out without being detected, or you can just kill everyone. But the original Hitman Contracts, like, it was really tough to go in guns blazing. Like, you had to be quite smart about it. They made guns blazing, like, a much more viable route in the newer games, for sure. The first two films were scored by Ludwig Göransson, but he was busy with Oppenheimer during production of 3, so his assistant Shirley, Book of Boba Fett, Mando, etc. Mando Season 3 took over. That's where I remember Joseph Shirley from. I remember seeing the name and I was like, damn, what is where does that person come from? And and he comes from Star Wars. He's done other Star Wars stuff. I remember talking about him as well, and how Alex was like, I don't like change. I don't like new composer. New composer weird. And then we listened to him, and you were like, actually, new composer cool. And I hope you've learned your lesson. Creed's a sequel spin-off to the Rocky films. Really? Okay, that's where I heard old boxing movie from. Okay. So it comes to... You're just saying that to get a rise out of me. It won't work on me. Wait, what? Wait, what did I say? What did I say that won't get a rise on me? What, like the Hitman's are slightly different? Like going in guns blazing was hard in Hitman Contracts? Wait, what did I say? What did I say? Oh, the punk bit. Listen, all you need to do to figure out whether I'm pulling your leg or not is go through our chat, go and see the songs you've requested, count how many of them are punk, and then come back to me. Hey! You're misrepresenting my stance on Shirley at the top of Mando Season 3. His first few episodes, he hadn't quite clicked into the vibe of the show, and by episode 3, he clicked, and then he was awesome. No. I'm talking about before. Before his music had even dropped. You were very skeptical. Very skeptical. I remember us talking about it once it had already dropped. Like, once the episodes had dropped. But even before the music came out, I think you were still like... Where's my Göransson? Like, I think as soon as you heard the name, and we had a whole conversation about it, I remember. And then, yeah, you're right. Like, for you, I remember you talking about it in the Mando discussion. Like, he did kind of take a couple episodes to hit his stride for you. And that's totally fine. Like, that part I remember quite clearly. It's so rare that I actually get to tease Alex, so this is good. This is good times. I'm just giving to you what Alfred gives to me on a daily basis, right? It's just sort of, it's paying it forward. Okay, I'll give you that one. I was skeptical going into Season 3. I was cautiously optimistic. Mind you, Göransson is like the guy for me, so it makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't say that your skepticism was like fully unfounded. It came from your perspective that you couldn't imagine that anyone could like live up to what Ludwig Göransson was doing. I remember connecting it to an idea of... I remember connecting it to Doctor Who, which made you kind of see things a little bit differently with the switching of composers there. And you were like, damn, they're doing the guy who does the old reliable Doctor Who all the time. And then you were like, actually, we should give the new guy a chance. And then I was like, but Joseph Shirley, though. You should give the new guy a chance. And we did, and now he's awesome. So it was a good decision. And speaking of Joseph Shirley, let's get started. I don't know how the how the copyright gods are gonna work for this one, so we're gonna have to see. But our first track, our first thing that we'll be listening to today is called The Void. And it is by Joseph Shirley from the Creed 3 film. Okay. I completely switched on Murray Gold, funny enough. I hated Murray Gold coming back, and then next I know I prefer this run to his first 10-season run. Really? Cool. Also, Tick Tick Boom out of 10. Is that the Andrew Garfield musical? I've been interested in that mildly. Mildly curious. Also playing Outer Worlds again out of 10. You're playing Outer Worlds? Oh, I remember that series. We had so much fun with it. It was great. I loved it. All right, either way. The only thing I know about this film, I haven't seen it. Only thing I know about it is that it's based off the Rocky films, which I only just now received information about. I know it's like a sequel to the Rocky films. It came out very new because that's obviously Michael B. Jordan. And we're going to stare at his body while we listen to music. Jesus. You can tell it's the morning for me. I finished watching it for the third time 20 minutes ago. It's incredible. Wow. I know Vanessa Hudgens is in it as well. And I always thought she was great. So, here we go. This is movie soundtrack stuff, so there probably won't be any lyrics, which means we're going back to orchestrations, which I'm a big fan of. So let's get some orchestration vibes in, and let's start with "The Void" by Joseph Shirley. Ooh, synths. Ooh, okay. It's boxing, right? It almost felt like boxing strikes hitting a pad for a second. Oh. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Cool, it's being played in 2 channels. So it's like it's not one channel coming at you here. It's 2 channels. It's stereo. This is not groundbreaking, but it feels like it's like even stereo. Very interesting. Oh, a little spliced together audio, like a vocalist. Some reverse sounds. That's cool. Oh, nice. Very interesting. Woo, that's a lovely one. Lovely motif. Wow, I'm having a real hard time figuring out the rhythm. I think that is the point. It's called The Void, right? It's meant to be this sort of chaotic vibe. Ooh, I like that. I like that sort of break between the very weird arrhythmic stuff. I mean, not arrhythmic, but like complex rhythmic stuff. Ooh, more punching stuff. Yeah, that sounds like boxing stuff. Oh, there you go. Literally like sort of dodging. Fading out of consciousness, maybe? Like maybe he got his bell rung and he's just kind of like staggering, and now he's back in the fight. Whoa! Whoa! The tiniest hint at really powerful music, and then we go back to the fade out. Oh, this is so weird. Oh, gotta love some deep synths. Ooh! Dude, this reminds me of it's like some of the Matrix soundtrack even. Oh, we're going in! Yes! Keep going! Whoa! Vocals come in right at the end! Ostinato in the horns? That's an interesting place to put him. Oh! Oh my goodness! Right at the end! A vocal riff! Coming back down. Isolated elements, and remember, we've often talked about brass and horns being instruments that illustrate pride, courage, willpower, that kind of thing. Ooh, key change. We've modulated. And a pause. And it doesn't end. It ends! It ends on an imperfect cadence! Okay, remember we talked about cadences last time. I'm going to talk about them again. Listen, listen, listen. Ba-da, da-da! You want it to end there. That's chord 1. But the da, that's chord 5. It's one of the notes in chord 5. It's not actually bum, bum, bum. That's what you want. The cadence is bum, bum, bum. That is 1-5-1. That's a perfect cadence. Imperfect is bum, bum. And that's it. And it doesn't resolve. That's an imperfect cadence. Wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Wow. This was a weird one. It was a really weird one. Imperfect cadences in the score are so handy. If a scene doesn't resolve, the score doesn't resolve. At least that's how I tend to do it, unless absolutely necessary. I mean, yeah, a lot of remember in musical narration, a lot of score will follow what the movie's doing. So if the movie doesn't resolve, then the score will not resolve, and that like literally it won't have a resolution. It'll have a suspension or something. So yeah, that's really cool. Oh, okay. The way that I kind of interpreted this was, this has all of the highs and lows of the way that a classic boxing, like a classic like final fight would have. Like it has all of the same, you can tell me how right I am, but like it has all of the same like musical pull-ins and pull-outs. as a like final hero versus villain fight would have. So a lot of structured fights are structured like they start out feeling each other out, then they go all out for a moment, and then the villain kind of wins, knocks down the hero for a while, and then everything goes quiet. The hero remembers his family or whatever the fuck the motivation is for the hero, and then he gets up and fights again, and then that's like the underdog story, and the hero kind of beats back the villain again. And then a lot of the times he ends up winning, but in this one there was an imperfect cadence which makes me wonder if actually they sort of left on a stalemate or something. Yeah, remember, these are just tropes. This is the trope of the final fight. Like, this is just what I'm using. So I'm using my knowledge of how final fights usually work, where it's just like they size each other up, they give it everything they got, the villain beats the hero remembers, children, family, homeland, whatever, and then gets back up, kills the villain with the power of friendship, and then that's it. It's a classic story, tale as old as time. Everyone loves a good story like that. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it's everywhere. So it's not hard to kind of lean on that as support for an argument. What I mean is, the music is describing that as well. So you've got that, you've got the start here where they're still sort of sizing each other up, and it just kind of gets in there. Then they start giving each other everything they have about here. Yeah. Wait, no, this is where they start giving you, this is the part where things go like, yeah, this is the part where things get really rough. Like the hero gets his bell rung. Still, again and again. And then he comes back up and he does this stuff. And he goes, let's go! And then he fights back! That's just how the story works. This is how music works, alright? So yeah. Bingo on its narrative placement. Oh, really? It's been played almost 2 years since I watched it, but from memory, you're pretty close. Wow. Okay. Well, sick. There you go. I mean, it shows how well, not only how well you can know music, but also how well you can know narratives. Like, if it arrives in a piece of media enough, then, I don't think Creed gets KO'd, but the general outline is similar. No, not KO'd, just like knocked down. Like, bell rung is not knocked out. It's like you get concussed for a second. Oh, shit. I think you might have described this back up here. This cue, yeah. This cue is over the final match. Oh, sick. Well, there we go. They're in the ring and everything goes blank. It's just Jordan and Majors in the ring. The stadium is empty. This moment in the film was ethereal, transformational. That's cool. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Pity about Jonathan Majors being like a total shithead, though. Still, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. I really enjoyed this. So we've got the starting section. You can break this up into 3 definitive sections. You've got a very weird, all over the place rhythmically, first orchestral section. Then in the middle section, everything goes very quiet. And everything goes to like single elements. Like every now and then you've got a theme coming in and it sort of hints at coming back, but then it goes down again. And there's this sort of ethereal nature to it, as Alex was describing. And then the third section, it comes in with basically it comes in with the same weird rhythmic orchestration of the first section, but the third section also has a lot more melody and chord structure to it. Whereas the first section is really just kind of meant to simulate people hitting other people. I'll tell you what it represents in a second, but basically like the disjuncted rhythm is also absent of a lot of like big full chords. This section is the one with a lot of big full chords, which I think is really cool. So yeah, 3 acts. Yeah, exactly. So you've got 3 sections, 3 acts in this piece. And then of course it ends on a little reprise of what's happening first. There's like a little bit of a break and then it comes back. So what this all represents, I've already described the narrative of like the hero getting, the hero and the villain fighting together. They're giving it their all. Hero gets knocked down, comes back up, finishes the villain. That's all fine. But more specifically, what's going on here, what it's supposed to represent. As someone who hasn't watched the movie, I'm going to do my best. But when these things start having like, when the melody starts moving into the drums and starts going, that seems like people trying to punch each other, right? It's got these like, It's got these really fast, disjointed rhythms that come in at always different times, different places in the bar. They always come in at different places, so it gives you that kind of that disjointed feeling that two people are fighting. Because remember, even though fighting is often seen as a dance or like a choreographed piece, like fighting has a rhythm to it. A lot of people will tell you that. But in a place like this, I would imagine in a movie like this, you wanna be able to illustrate the fact that the two combatants are coming at each other from different places, like unpredictable locations. Like, shit, he's jabbing right, now he's jabbing left, now a haymaker, now a hook from underneath. Like, it's that sort of the sort of unpredictable nature of someone who's moving really fast in boxing or in other kind of martial arts to really portray that. So we've got these really large, like, drum movements here. So you've got this kind of pulse completely. There you go. This pulse that's underneath, that is like fully. The pulse that's underneath is anchoring us to the beat and showing us there's a beat, and then the composer uses that anchor beat to put in some random jabs. Of course, they're not random jabs. They have a purpose there. But the fact is, they're in their not randomness, they manage to sound like they're random to a casual listener, which is good because this is what is supposed to happen. Like, these sorts of so-called random jabs are actually specifically placed to come in at various different times in the bar at each time, which is really cool. So here we go again. Listen to that. Bump, 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 bump. Fully offbeat as well. Very nice. Some big clashes in the brass. Like, there's no resolution. It's a bunch of clashed chords, and the chords never really find a place to settle and land because the drums and the synth underneath are still kind of getting those dun, 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 those sort of jabs in there as well. So this is kind of the part of the piece, the act one, where there's the most conflict, the most chaos, the least amount of musical consensus, I would say. And then you go into the second section. Creed 1, directed by Ryan Coogler, his second film, and scored by Goranson. Creed 2, directed Stephen Caple Jr., and scored by Goranson. Creed 3, directed by Michael B. Jordan, directorial debut, and Shirley. Okay, cool. Those brass parts are really crunchy, aren't they? They are. And the fact that they're always playing clashes as well is pretty awesome. And then you've got these jabs that keep going. Ooh, lovely hint of a theme. More of these weird jabs, and then the beat goes away. The pulse goes away, and it is replaced by clashing atonal strings in the top. And then some sadder chords start to play. So now we enter at the moment that pulse goes away. Here. There you go. At the moment that pulse goes away, we enter the second section of the piece. Second section, everything pulls away. Solo exposed elements. Nothing kind of jabs out at you anymore. You've got these sad chords. The pulse comes back in a little bit, but really it's more about how kind of... It's more about how smooth we can play. We've been entering the staccato kind of section of everything for a while. Now we enter a more legato section. Staccato versus legato. Staccato is very short notes. Legato is very long, followed, like smooth notes. These are legato notes that are being played. And then things get kind of silent. And now you literally have a moment where different types of like electronic techniques are used. Notice one of these things. I'll give you a second to hear for it. Wait for it. That little... Let's try it again. That is a reverse sound. I don't know if that's its technical term, but basically that's what happens when you play something. You play a note, or you get an instrument, you bang a drum, and then you reverse the sound. A lot of times, a lot of like, in cinema music, in theater music, in film music, excuse me, is the term. A lot of people will use reverse piano sounds to make a really cool vibe there as well. A great example of reverse piano is the trailer music from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. They used a lot of reverse piano in that in the first few chords. Reverse chords, reverse notes, reverse piano, reverse instrument, reverse music, whatever you want to call it. Very effective in creating a kind of unnatural but still really punchy sound. Like you can hear the way it starts small and grows big in the space of one note. That's not possible with instruments like a piano or like a drum. When you hit the piano, the only direction the volume can go in is down after you've hit a key. So if it's moving back up, you've done something weird to it, right? A lot of the time you've reversed it, which is really, really interesting. So I like it a lot. So we're still fully in the second section, and now as the second section develops, it gets these little elements. The pulse comes back just a little bit, that kind of vibe. And then every now and then you've got these moments that suggest that you've got these moments that suggest that that maybe the boxer in the film, the sort of the character in the film is dodging things like like that kind of, you know, dodge some shots coming at you from the opponent. So that's the kind of vibe I wonder is being created here. But then also you've got like, you know, stay conscious. And you can tell that if the character's going through a rough time in this section, then the pulse coming back represents an attempt by the character to get their head back in the game, to kind of keep focusing on the fight. But it comes in softer, showing us that they're not fully focused on the fight anymore because they've got their head concussed or whatever. There are a lot of little clusters in there. And funny enough, that really cool little brass motif, you never hear that before or since at any point in the film. Shame it's such a cool line. Interesting. I wonder. I love those little sound design bits with the staccato vocals and random stutter delay hits through between them. Yeah. The second section I'm talking about, yeah. Sounds to me like a cymbal with some stutter and EQ randomization, then reversed. Oh, really? Okay, it could be a cymbal then, yeah. I love using reverses going into sections before a big sub hit. Always great. Yeah. A lot of reverse notes come in right before a giant like a giant bass. So yeah, you're right. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Now, so interesting. So interesting. Now we move, I think. Hang on. No, we're still second section. No, still second section. Yeah. So this is an opportunity for the second section to develop. We get this stuff here. He's trying to bring himself back. The faintest pulse. It's coming back. He goes away again. He's sort of slipping in and out of consciousness, it feels like. But then what's so cool about this is that this moment comes in. You've got these drum moments that tell you that something's happening. These warm-up timpani. Boom, 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 and then the chord comes out. I'll show you. Here. Not yet. Listen. Yes! And then it goes away. So cool. It's a little fake out. A little musical fake out. I love it. Such a striking moment. Like there's this build up. Boom, boom, boom. And then there's this huge big open chord and now we're back. And it's like comes up, swings once and then goes down again. It's like, damn, this thing looks really hopeless for our hero. And And then he's like, wait. My wife and child. We're coming back up, but now we've got the same vocal triggers that kind of get him up in the first place. And now we're entering the third section, when the chords really start coming in. So this one was a fake out, brings us back to the second section still. The third section, I think, fully arrives at this moment when the chords start coming in. And that lower synth is almost like a more powerful way to get the hero out of whatever stupor they're in. Double vocals too. Ready, here we go. It's developing, it's leading us into section 3. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, and call back to the first section with all these disjointed rhythmic hits of brass. Now vocals are coming back, almost literally calling for the fight to continue. And we are reminded by the first section. This is how you know we're building to the third section. The second section will often play hints of the first as it develops to move its way to the third. Here we go. And then it comes out and plays full chords. Full chord progressions. My God. And now he's back, fully. And now we have strings back again. Everything's more kind of clear again. Let me understand. Let me help you understand what's happening musically. Listen to how clear everything is now compared to how muffled everything was back then. There's that clarity, right? That clarity in the strings. When we go here, everything is muted. Everything is... You can hear it, right? There's a giant mute being placed on the whole track. It's meant to let you know that everything is coming from very far away. Like, it doesn't sound like it's right here. And then when it breaks... Now everything's back. The mute has been lifted. The voice is coming back clear. The strings are clear as well. Now we're in section 3, fully. Here we go. No mute anymore. Big timpanis. Classic orchestration. Amazing. We've taken that disjointed rhythm and that muted section from before, and we've now built it up in this one, like, big finale of a section. Fantastic. And we're not even done. But there's that moment where they kind of... I've skipped past it twice because I'm talking over it, but I want to show you this one part that is really fantastic that I just heard as well. This moment. Here we go. You ready? Almost there. Yes! Oh, so good. I love a false drop. You know I love it. It's one of my favorite things. Let's listen again. Isn't that cool? So sick. Love that. Love that. I love the tone of that tenor. Dude, sounds amazing. Is it a tenor? It sounds like an alto to me. Super cool, though. Either way. And it goes back. I think we have one more chord right at the end. I can't remember. This is like a reprise. This moment is kind of like a conclusion for everything. We're still in the third section. It builds everything that we've done before. And then it builds on the sections that have come before as well. Maybe other pieces in the OST. And then it manages to end on like a nice big crescendo. And then don't forget it ends on an imperfect cadence as well. Lovely modulation, key change, right to the end. We're now using major chords, which is very interesting, which is often used for a big resolution. Which is weird. Because that was an imperfect chord. So cool. Chord 5 of 6, which was a borrowed chord as well. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Ah, those string lines are just beautiful. I don't quite know how to describe them, but they're otherworldly feeling. Yeah, I think it's because of the other instruments they're combined with, which gives you that feeling. For real. Yeah. I think that percussion is Surdos, but yeah. Surdos? What is a surdo? Is it a type of instrument I'm unfamiliar with? I think of orchestral drums as timpanis. I apologize. I know that there are other drums. The first big chord is so damn good. Finally, after 3.5 minutes of tension, release. Yes, that's exactly what it is. There's that moment of like, there's even a fake out. They're those chords that kind of hint at it and then they pull away again. And then finally, when they come back for real, it's like utter catharsis musically. And I don't know about you, but musical catharsis for me is after like so much tension is one of the most amazing feelings. Ending it out with a somber Creed theme. Oh, cool. So that was the theme. Okay, sick. Yeah. That's awesome. Very well composed. Like, really, really good composition. I can tell that the composer is really understanding the assignment here. Like, they know what's... They know what it's supposed to describe. They know the kind of piece that they're doing here. They know how to narratively tie it in with everything else. Not only everything else that's going on in the scene, but everything else that's going on in the rest of the film as well, which is great. Like, Alex, you just pointing out the Creed theme at the end. That was really cool. Really, really lovely track. I like it a lot. It's been a long time since we've done orchestral arrangements. So it's really awesome that we can do that. Surdos are Brazilian bass drums, the low foundation of the Brazilian percussion section. Really? Cool. Okay, good to know. Good to know. All right. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you, Alex, for a great suggestion, as per usual. An amazing an amazing kind of an amazing composition. Amazing idea of, you know, what's going on and what the assignment is. I've always been a fan of Joseph Shirley, so really cool that he's just put out another banger like this. This makes me want to listen to the rest of the score as well, so that's cool. They're used all over film music. Once you know what they sound like, you'll hear them all over the place. Really? Are they the ones that do that? Those classic trailer music, gong, 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 bwah, like that kind of cinematic sound. Okay. And with Creed, we're going to move on. We're going to head on from Creed to Fireball. We're going to move to another song called Man with the Hex from the Atomic Fireballs. I'm really hoping that this person on the album art is actually the vocalist. I really hope that they sing like this. So this is going to be, this is Alfred's pick. And we're going to give it a listen now. I know nothing about this. Alfred, is there any context that you think I should know before we go in? Is there any kind of is there any sort of like story behind it that you want me to know before we go into it? No context? Okay, awesome. Let's just go into it. I don't know why. But I remember listening to a Blink-182 song, and I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember the name of it, but the last time, when someone says no context, just listen to this song, I'm reminded of a Blink-182 song that jump scared me with no context. And it's a song that starts off as, it's Merry Christmas, you fucking assholes, or something like that. Or Merry Christmas, you bastards, yeah. And it says, the whole song, the song starts immediately. It's like a minute long. And it starts with just one of the lead singers going, "It's Christmas Eve and I've only got 2 fucking presents. Christmas Eve and I've only got 2 fucking presents." And it's like, it's just this really funny Blink-182 style, like angry song, but to this cheerful rhythm, and it's got like, yeah, it's just so funny. And that to me is no context, like no context musical jump scare. It's great. You shall experience this as I had, just blasting into your ears by surprise. See, this is what makes me feel like you're about to hit me with another Merry Christmas, you bastards. Okay. Alright, well, here we are. This is Man with the Hex by the Atomic Fireballs. Why do I feel like this is going to be the same thing that I just described? Let's give it a listen.
You remind me of a man. Oh, the man with the power.
Oh! I know this song!
You remind me of a man.
I know this song! Yes! Bam, bam. I love this song. This song is so freaking good.
Save us from the man with the hex. Save us from this evil curse. It's gonna get bad, yeah, it's gonna get worse.
Woo! Open hi-hats and cymbals, jazz cymbal rhythm, so good.
Save us from that evil man with hairy legs and
Oh,
he cracks up
love this. This song is iconic. It's so good. I've heard this in a music soundtrack before. Classic jazz makeup, by the way. Like classic jazz big band. You've got the brass, you've got the walking bass, you've got the drums playing classic jazz stuff, chorus, backup singers, and a main singer that's got that pizzazz, you know? Like that kind of Tasmanian devil vibe. It's Louis Armstrong. Saxophone solo. It wouldn't be jazz without a sax solo. Everything is so pinnacle jazz right now. Like Tom Jones vibes. Woo! Oh my God! Only toms now. And tambourine. The best, like, you know it's classic jazz when it's got, or it's inspired by classic jazz when it's got backup vocals, blues style. Remember, jazz and blues, they're spiritually connected. That's where they come from. Same place. My God. Holy shit! That was a bop from start to finish. Where is it, Man with the Hex? I am instantly adding this. Done. My goodness. That's phenomenal work. Wow, 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 wow. I can't tell how he's doing that grit at all. Could be 3 different ways and none of them are particularly healthy. So, yeah. There are different ways. Remember. Louis Armstrong. This is why I mentioned Louis Armstrong. So let's talk about vocal quality first. Louis Armstrong just sang like that. Like, he just sounded like that. Sometimes people just sound like that. There's a really cool person that you can listen to when he talks about it. It's the guy who played Beetlejuice on one of the more famous theater productions, like the stage productions of Beetlejuice. Very recent, actually. I can't remember what his name is, but he played Beetlejuice. And he managed, like, his voice, he was born, when he talks about it in an interview, he said his vocal coach was talking about it with him. He was born with vocal cords that are structured in such a way that he can just do this all the time and nothing happens. Like, it doesn't damage his voice at all. He can make it, Alex Lacrimore? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's kind of so sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it just works like that. Sometimes you just have someone who speaks like that, you know? Sometimes someone has smoked a pack a day for, 20 years and then they sound like that naturally. So it's not exactly healthy, but, that's because the smoking wasn't healthy, not because the voice technique isn't healthy. It's just the voice is now like that because their lungs are fucked. So it could be screwed lungs, but it also just could be that their voice works like that. The other possibility is that they're using a technique that we might not be aware of to make their voice sound like that, and that's fine. And of course, the other possibility is that they're just completely fucking up their voice by doing a really weird technique that doesn't really work. So yeah, that it could be a lot of things. What I do know is that for me to listen to it, I'm not gonna it doesn't sound like it's killing their voice. Like, listen.
You remind me of a man. Oh, the man with the power.
Okay, never mind. It does sound a little bit like it potentially could be wrecking someone's voice. But at the same time, for me, it sounds great. Sounds really cool. I don't want anyone to try and replicate this, just in case. But it does sound cool. It does sound really, really cool. Also, hi, Taters. Welcome. Welcome. I'm happy you're here. So, that's vocal technique. Next, let's talk about jazz makeup. So, the makeup of a jazz band, we've got some brass, we've got some classic jazz drums, we've got some saxophones, we've even got the backup singers and then a main singer at the front. And it's just such a wonderful classic jazz combination, you know? And I think that's what I was really gonna that's what I was gonna hit quite frequently, is that I just really loved the combination of instruments. It was so classic to me. Really, really cool. And of course they were playing it in a classic jazz way as well, like drums going with that like that kind of jazz cymbal hit is pretty common in jazz music. Yeah, really, really, really good. I'm not staying, just popping in. Okay. Is that the song from Scooby-Doo? Scooby-Doo! This is why I know it! This is where I know it from! Oh my god! I watched both Scooby-Doo live-action movies when I was a kid. Oh, I loved those movies. This is where it comes from! Oh my god, I didn't know that! That's so cool! Okay, now I know. I remember. It's all coming back to me. This is so cool. I literally heard like 3 seconds of it and I knew. Look, when I listened to it, I was like, damn, I know the song immediately. Like, I know the song, but I was like, where do I know it from? And yeah, that makes full sense. The James Gunn films, did he do the live action Scooby-Doo? Because if so, then yes. It's not where it's from, but yeah. Wait, why did you say yes in brackets then? Huh? What do you mean? So it's not from Scooby-Doo? Wait, so where is it from? Where is this from? Ooh, Scooby-Doo Luna Ghost. Wait, it is! It is! No, it is from Scooby-Doo. It's in the movie, but it's in Scooby-Doo. It's not from Scooby-Doo. Oh, okay. Wow, way to split hairs. It's in the movie. That's what I didn't know that it was. I don't mind if it's like not composed for the movie. I mean, like, it's in the movie. Yeah. That's what I meant. Yes, I didn't know. I didn't mean to say that it was like specifically composed for the movie. I thought it was a needle drop inside the movie of Scooby-Doo. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, we're going to talk about, we've talked about the jazz makeup and stuff. We talked about the vocal grit and stuff as well. There's not really much to go into specifically, not to the same extent that we went through the last track with, because it has like 3 distinct sections. This is just a classic jazz bop. I think that's kind of its strategy. So if I were to really talk about this and pull it apart, I'd say that overall, it gives a vibe that from the very beginning of the song to the end, you're supposed to be in this kind of hypnotic, that kind of vibe just from beginning to end. Okay, I gotta go. Bye, taters. Thanks for hopping in. And I think it works really well. Like, if that's its goal achieved. Like, from beginning to end, it just has this. It just constantly doesn't stop at all. Doesn't stop at all. Like, doesn't stop at all. It's really, really cool. So just constantly throughout the track, you've got the same rhythm that is inspiring you to just keep kind of right. So I'm going to talk about instrumentation here. I've talked about the way the drums work. I'm going to start you off with this.
From his evil curse. It's gonna get bad, yeah, it's gonna get worse.
Cymbals. That's that kind of cymbal vibe. That's very cymbals. Listen to another instrument. That's part of the jazz chord. So they're doing the same thing as what a jazz chord would be doing. That jazz run that I just did, that is part of the sort of minor version of a jazz chord. All right, they skip out two notes in the chord. I think it's I think it's 2 and 6 that the steps they skip in that chord. And that's what makes a great jazz chord. You can do it in minor or major, but the trumpets are literally going up and down in that chord. It's nothing new or groundbreaking. They're just playing classic minor jazz chord. That's it. Then I want to take your attention to the tom section over here. Classic jazz instrument. Then from that, we have the tambourine in the background, which gives a much cooler, like, big band vibe, which is a subgenre of jazz. Also, one of my favorites subgenres of jazz is big band and swing. So you've got that as well. Then you've got another instrument. That's what toms do. The toms in the drums will do that quite a lot. They'll give this very, like, floor dancing kind of vibe as well, because the toms in this moment are meant to represent the stomping of feet. Right? In the absence of other instruments, they're meant to represent the stomping of feet. Then you have this moment here. Let's listen to brass for a second. Technically woodwind. Here we go. And that's meant to be the screaming of someone. Because, it's about, like, the man with the hex and, like, dark magic and whatever. Maybe a little healthy racism sprinkled in there. But there's that sax that's going so high up there. I think it is a sax. You have to press your lips together so hard to get that kind of note to come out of there. It's a screaming sax is such an interesting technique. And it's literally called a scream. Like, the technique is literally called a scream. You can do it in trumpets. The reason I thought it was brass first is because you can do it with a trumpet as well. It definitely made it sound like a trumpet. But it's actually a sax. Starts with the sax solo. And then... and then it just kind of... and then it goes down again. Very cool. So that's woodwinds. We've talked about brass doing the ba-dum-bum, ba-da-da-da. That's the drums on the toms as well. Now we've done the woodwinds, the sax solos, things like that. We've also done this. I'm going to take right back to the beginning, and I'm going to go with vocals. Vocals, you've got a lead vocal, and you've got backup vocals. Very big band, very jazz, very demure, very mindful. I've never said that unironically before. So there will be... there'll be a lead singer who says something, and then the backup vocals will, back them up. What's interesting about this, though, is this is jazz. The reason I say this is classic jazz is because a lot of jazz, remember the roots of jazz, at least in American jazz, are African-American spiritual music, blues, which comes from black Americans during the slave period, the chattel slavery period. That's where the music was, like, fully originated. At least that part of the world fully originated that kind of jazz in there. other versions of jazz developed around the world at different times, but that's that flavor of jazz. And remember, there is one particular quality about a lot of African traditional music that actually then informs a lot of what jazz does. And that is a technique called call and response.
You remind me of a man. What man? Oh, the man with the power. What power? Oh, the power of voodoo. Voodoo. Oh, you do. Do what? You remind me of a man. What man? Yeah, the man with the power. What power? Yeah, the power of voodoo. Voodoo. Yeah, you do.
Call, response. Call, response. Very, very prominent in a lot of traditional African music. You have one person leading whatever they're doing, whatever music they're making, and you've got a chorus of people who follow along, and either they say exactly the same thing as the leader is singing, just in harmony, or they spur on the lead singer by saying something else. Not just traditional African music does this, by the way. Call and response is found all over the world. A lot of traditional chanting, a lot of lots of stuff, like football chants, you know, like we've made call and response and we have evolved it into like literal chanting at a football game where someone will like start something and then we'll keep going. If you've been watching Maori in the news recently, like Maori people, they have a lot of call and response in their music as well. And it's just in a lot of indigenous people's music. And it's been like, you know, adopted by other genres of music as well, and now it's made its way. It made its way into jazz through that indigenous connection as well. You know, indigenous people then are moved to the Americas, and then they come up with some music. It kind of comes from their roots, and then those roots kind of show themselves in the jazz. So call and response is definitely part of the vocals here. Super interesting. So we've got a lot of that. Yeah, 2 and 6. Okay, cool. Yeah, that is a remarkably high note to hit on a tenor sax. Please never put those words in that order ever again. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a little demure, all right? We all need a little bit of mindfulness in our lives. And then finally, in this piece, I'm going to show you the other thing that really solidifies itself as a classic work of jazz, or at least inspired by the classic techniques of jazz. And that, my friends, is a walking bass.
From this evil curse, it's gonna get bad, yeah, it's gonna get worse. Hocus pocus,
Did you hear it? Did you hear the walking bass? Why do I call it a walking bass? Well, by bass, I obviously mean the double bass. It can be a bass guitar as well, but traditionally it's a double bass. And in jazz bands, in jazz groups, you have a bass that usually plays dum 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 dum. And people who played bass were like, this is cool. It's nice and chill. But it gets kind of boring. So instead, what I'm going to do is add a couple notes. So instead we go dum 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 dum. Now we've added some more elements to that bass line, right? And so it slowly starts to take shape. Eventually, you have this. And other stuff that is along that line, right? That is a walking bass. A bass that plays notes at every moment in the bar with only a couple. It can have a couple of breaks. It still counts as a walking bass, and it makes stepwise movements all the way down and all the way up. So you'll see that this walking bass goes, I think it goes dum 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 like that. So it's like a half walking bass. Oh no, this is a full-on walking bass now. Here we go. Yeah. Dum 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 dum. That I could do it forever. It's so entertaining and it's so flowy and easy and simplistic, but it's still so cool and it's so different from dum 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 dum. Like that's boring. If it has a purpose, but I totally understand why walking bass was developed, because this is so much more interesting, so much more complex, and it's still cool while remaining easy. And I think, I think hearing a walking bass almost everywhere is a lot of fun. Very classic walking bass that you can hear is in the Cantina Band. The Star Wars Cantina Band has a lot of walking bass in it, especially the middle section where it goes. Hang on. That part of the Cantina Band. That part of the Cantina Band, you've got a walking bass going. Like, it's literally going down the octave, like, constantly. That is the definition of a walking bass. So yeah, this is really what I wanted to focus on in this song. Like, it's got this phenomenal, like, it's got this phenomenal makeup of classic jazz elements that just lets it be this bop from start to finish. I think that's what makes it such a bop, because it's so easy to get along with. It's got so many, like, foundational elements of jazz music that we have there. So we've got the walking bass, we've got the toms, hi-hat rhythm, backup vocals, call and response, vocal grit in the lead, brass doing literal jazz chords up and down, like nothing too fancy there. Saxophone doing some screaming. Very good musicianship. Like, and all together they give this real big band vibe that is very easy to connect to. And that is what makes this a bop. Really, really, really cool. I mean, the Cantina Band is jizz, so of course there's walking bass. Yes, thank you. It's no longer called jizz, actually. I love the way jazz drums sound. They're so open and ringing and boomy. It's great. Yeah, they have this kind of old-style vibe to them, for sure. Jazz drums are, like, not tight. I think the skin of the drum is left fully open on purpose so that you can, like, it's left loose. I'm so used to rock drums, which are really tight and punchy with very little ring and boom, but God, jazz drums, delish. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, so, as is tradition, and I realize I forgot to do this with Creed, so I do apologize, but as is tradition, with all of that knowledge now, I'd like you to now listen to this one last time, because we didn't do this with Creed. Again, I apologize, but we're going to do this now with Atomic Fireballs. So once again now, this is The Man with the Hex by the Atomic Fireballs, and see if you can listen to what we have learned about in the analysis. Here we go.
You remind me of a man. What man? Oh, the man with the power. What power? Oh, the power of voodoo. Voodoo. Oh, you do. Do what? You remind me of a man. What man? Yeah, the man with the power. What power? Yeah, the power of voodoo. Yeah, you do.
Oh, piano! I forgot to realize the piano is there as well. Forgot to mention it. So good though. Perfect honky tonk vibes as well, by the way. Trumpets, jazz chords, jazz melodies, man, jazz scales. Phenomenal walking bass. Tequila. Toms, baby. You what? Wah man. Wah power. Voodoo. You what? Sax solo, baby. Whew. This is such a bop, dude. Here we go. Voodoo. Great scream. This makes me feel like the guy on the album art is actually doing this with that pose as well. Yes! Phenomenal.
Winkum, dinkum, Nodimus Rex. Save us from the man with the hex. With buggy eyes and a bulging neck. Save us from the man with the hex.
Doubling up with that unison brass as well. And then he goes up to the octave. Tambourine coming in. All the elements come in now. Crazier and crazier, right up to the finale. And that's how it ends. So cool. So cool. Very purposeful way to bring in all the elements. That's a very big jazz thing as well. Jazz towards the finale of something will often bring in all the elements of a piece just for this one giant chaotic finale. But it sounds chaotic and messy, but it is actually fully purposeful and everything is playing exactly what it's supposed to. I shall hold this against you, the heat death of the universe. Listen, I'll play it again just for you in private. Wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Really, really, really wonderful stuff. Thank you, Alex, for your Creed suggestion. Thank you, Alferg, for your jazz suggestion. That was a wonderful song. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah. Or not DE, the B flat threw me. Listen, you figure it out and let me know. I will I will end things there. Those are our two things for today. Good thing we're ending early too, because my voice in the morning. I had some really hyped up pieces today, so so yeah. Who's suggesting punk this time, huh? Alferg. Hang on, I'll play some more chilled music as I say this. Alferg, I'm sorry. I apologize for assuming that this would be punk. All the other suggestions you've made, they've been punk or punk adjacent, and it kind of just, they're awesome. They're great suggestions, but it kind of led me to a pattern, you know? And it's kind of like Alex suggesting orchestral music, you know? Like, you know, one time she sent me Linkin Park, or at least Emily Armstrong, Dead Sarah. That was like the one time in living memory that she hasn't sent me something that was orchestral or from a movie soundtrack, you know? So you're the same. I placed it on you like an identifying marker, and I understand that might have been stifling. So I apologize. Your suggestion today was anything but punk. Loosely related, but very loosely. And I acknowledge that you have layers, like an onion, and you contain multitudes. And I appreciate that. So thank you for your not punk suggestion today, Alfred. I appreciate it. I know it sounds like I'm taking the piss, but I was genuine. I've sent you rock stuff a lot. I know. I'm teasing. I needed you as an example because you're the only other one here. It's just you two. So, I think we're going to end things there. What a lovely time that was. Just a solid section of music analysis. Hey, if you guys want to hang out with me, I'm in the Discord right now. I'm going to be hanging out. Maybe I'll play some Sea of Thieves with Alferg if you're still around, maybe. If you'd like to. I don't know. We can try. So, thank you to the two of you for being here and being active. If you've been lurking in chat, that's great. I love that you've been here as well. And if you've been watching the VOD for the future, just checking out the music analysis, thank you so much for doing that as well. I really hope that all of you have a lovely day further. Please let me know what you'd like me to react to or analyze with music if you are in the Discord and you want to do that. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, you absolutely should. And other than that, we're going to end things there. It's now 11:25 in the morning in South Korea. No matter what time of day it is for you, no matter how you're doing or where you're from, have a lovely day further. Please remember to drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, and be kinder to yourself than you're currently being. We're in the last 2 weeks of streams, and we're almost through. I'll see you in the next stream on Saturday morning when we do music analysis all over again. Take care, everyone.